nervous out here. I had one of my case studies, which was the Unilever vending machine, which Babs stole my thunder early in the morning. And the other thing, I had a lot of case studies for Wasim Basir, who's a client of ours with Coca-Cola, but he decided to take it away for himself. So all of this is ad-libbed content completely, right? So it's going to be, and I've got my 18 minutes TED timing set by Srikanth out here. So fantastic. A brief introduction. My name is Ram, country manager, Sapient Nitro. We are an integrated marketing and technology services company. We like to call ourselves the leader in redefining the way how brands and companies connect with their customers, especially in a very, very digitally advanced or disrupted world. Quite a mouthful there, but I hope I can demonstrate that. I want to start off my presentation here with a quote here by Clement Mock. Clement, for those of you who don't know, was with Apple in the mid to late 80s, a designer for Apple. He designed what is the forerunner for today's Macintosh. Clement was also the chief creative officer for Sapient in the early 2000s here. So today, I just wanted to put that up because I think a lot of us around the room can resonate with the idea of some ideas being very, very simple and just being game changers. Today, I want to talk about one, my first case study, which is Sneakerpedia by Foot Locker. Foot Locker, many of you may not know Foot Locker here, so I've got a brief introduction out here. They're a multi-brand retail outlet. Essentially, stock only sneakers. They don't look at anything beyond sneakers. They do a bit of apparel, but beyond that, they don't do anything else. Essentially, nothing extraordinary about them, but they've got a very large global presence. That's Foot Locker for you. So if I were to go on to the next slide, I'm going to talk about a bit of what Foot Locker likes to call themselves, right? They call themselves a sneaker expert. So if you have a world which is dominated by the Nikes and Adidas of the world, and they're talking about what their brands have to offer, what Foot Locker does is they say we are the sneaker expert, pretty much like the Apple Genius Bar at this point in time. And they would like to say that if you come into a Foot Locker store, and if you have an idea of what you want to do, say running or tennis or jogging, they would select the sneaker for you. Very, very iconic. If you were to look at what they do, they have salesmen who are called stripers because they wear these striped, iconic white and black T-shirt. So can you play this video for me, please?
LA trainer white with blue and silver stripes. Chuck Taylor, padded collar, worn by someone called Bernard. That's not a shoe.
I'm not a shoe.
You're that one.
Okay, very, very passionate about sneakers, right? But one of the fundamental problems out here is, if you were to look at the retailing industry, you've got 100% turnover year on year. So the salesmen that you pride yourself on as people that are the sneaker experts are walking out of the door. With them walks out all the knowledge that you're trying to sell to your consumers, the big striper effect, right? So, okay, if you were to look at what their communication was all about, if you were to start looking at what the campaigns they were doing, they were very, very typically salesy, product promotion, very, very seasonal, back-to-school kind of campaigns. I'm going to play one more video for you. Okay, that's for the introduction of a new sneaker model, right? So if you were to look at what's happening to Foot Locker, at one level their retail presence is being threatened because you've got the Nike outlets, the Adidas outlets, which are far more glamorous and there for people. If they're trying to spend in the traditional media, they're being outspent by all their typical brands from that point of view. If you were to get into social media space, the fan following of what Nike can bring in, Foot Locker can never bring in as well. So they are threatened that way. And finally, their core business, in which they are the sneaker experts, is also being threatened because their shoe salesmen are walking out of the door. So that's the scenario, right? So this is the scenario where Sapien Nitro got engaged with this client, and they've been a client of ours for a very, very long time. And we started working with them last summer. The essential thought was to go and say, how do we rediscover the essence of the Foot Locker brand? And we looked at social media, right? And I think we got the clue out there, and we said, it's enthusiasm for sneakers beyond any reason, right? It's absolutely enthusiasm, it's passionate, and moving beyond that. Now that's what it is, they live and die for sneakers. So it's almost like the sneaker fans or sneaker heads. That's a key insight that we got out of there, right? Moving further, we said, if as a brand, you're genuinely enthusiastic, you need to live that. It is not a question of just communicating that, putting that into a communication message, but that is something which has to be a competitive advantage. How do you take something which is the brand's essence and make it into a competitive advantage? Enter what we call as Sneakerpedia. Now, Sneakerpedia is not something that you would have heard of. So I'm going to show you more things out here. What Sneakerpedia is, think about it as Wikipedia mashed up with Flickr, right? It's a social space for sneakerheads, right? It's a social space, not a market space, right? So it is almost like it's a gift from Foot Locker. It is powered by Foot Locker, but it's a community space available for sneaker fans worldwide, right? That's what Sneakerpedia does for you. It's available for all sneaker fans. Now, you might say, Ram, what's the big deal out here, right? So a lot of us have seen a lot of these websites. What's the big deal about it? The first thing about Sneakerpedia is it's currently in closed beta right now. It's going to launch only in the summer of 2011. When you launch and log into Sneakerpedia, what you're going to see is that kind of an interface, right? And what is unique about this, if you were to look at it, is user-generated content. But the way the user-generated content happens, and you're talking about usability here, and Karthik mentioned about usability out here, is that every sneaker is the left sneaker pointing left inside a shoebox, right? And it's organized in such a way, therefore the usability and the user experience of site automatically takes care of itself. The other beautiful part about it, and it's a very, very small nuance, is that this page is possibly going to go on record for being the single longest scrolling HTML page in the history of the internet. It's one single scrolling page that keeps going on and on and on.